Welcome to the Stop Overdrinking and Start Living podcast, where high-achieving working moms come to learn how to stop overdrinking, reduce overwhelm and anxiety, and show up like the players they were meant to be. I'm your host, Angela Mascenik, and let's dig in. This is episode 10, People Pleasers. Hello, how are you guys? Welcome to March 2019. I feel like I am announcing a new month on the podcast almost every week. Time for me is flying. It's March. It's almost spring. That means summer is around the corner. And the kids will be out of school. All that fun stuff. Oh my gosh. Yeah, March. Anyway, I just spent the weekend in Dallas, Texas at the Life Coach School, learning all sorts of business and marketing strategies with Brooke Castillo. It was so amazing, you guys. I never know when I go down there how my brain will be blown apart, but I also know it is sure to happen. And of course it did. And just to give you guys a little bit of a history with life coaching, I bet on myself last year and went all in on life coaching. I put money down and I hired a life coach because I wanted to create the life that I've always wanted. And I knew the results from working with her were completely up to me. But she sort of provided a vehicle for it to happen. I knew she couldn't generate the results. I had to generate them for myself. And I know that she would guide me to getting those results that I wanted. And so I ended up losing 45 pounds and I stopped over drinking. What? I hired a life coach. She helped me stop over drinking and I lost weight. It's crazy. Among a million other things. Like, I didn't know I would gain amazing self-confidence and I would feel fulfilled for the first time in my life. I also didn't know that I would learn how to generate feelings for myself and stop thinking that other people, things, or circumstances were responsible for how I felt. That was probably the biggest gain of working with a life coach. Now, I don't rely on things outside of myself to make me feel happy or fulfilled or satisfied. I know I can feel that whenever I want, and all I have to do is think thoughts that make me feel those feelings. It's amazing. So today I'm digging into people pleasing. You know who you are. You like to make people happy, right? You love doing things that bring joy to others, yeah? You're constantly putting others' needs and wants first before your own, no matter what. Psychology Today writes that people pleasers are some of the nicest and most helpful people you know. They never say no. You can always count on them for a favor. In fact, they spend a great deal of time doing things for other people. They get their work done, help others with their work, make all the plans, and are always there for family members and friends. We often identify as a people pleaser and just leave it at that. We have heard it's probably not the best to be a people pleaser, or we should be less of a people pleaser, but that's where it ends. Have you ever wondered why you are a people pleaser? Psychology Today also writes the intense need to please and care for others is deeply rooted in either a fear of rejection or a fear of failure. Fear of rejection is the underlying thought, like, if I don't do everything I can to make this person happy, they might leave or stop caring for me. Fear of failure is the underlying thought, like, if I make a mistake, I will disappoint people or be punished. It's so interesting to me. I'd like to add to those definitions. People pleasers look to other people to make them feel a certain way. So if you're a people pleaser, you want to make the other person happy. So you make them a cake. You give them a cake and they say, "Oh, Kara, you're the best. Thank you so much for this. You are so thoughtful. I don't know how you have the time." And then you feel good, right? Yeah, you are taking actions like making that cake to try and make other people happy so you can feel good. Do you see that? You may not have been aware of this is how it works, but now that you are, you can be aware and start to make changes. You think if they feel good, you feel good. You think if you do a good job and they appreciate it, then you can feel good. But this all backfires when it doesn't work out in our favor, right? Let's say you made a delicious dinner for your husband and your family, and you worked hard on it, and nobody liked it, right? They barely ate it, and they never even said thank you. Rude, totally. Now you are disappointed and upset that they didn't like it. You think they don't appreciate you, and they should have said thank you or explained that they weren't hungry or something, right? You are letting people, someone other than you, dictate your feelings in this situation. You are relying on their approval in order to feel good. That is being a people pleaser. You are scared of being rejected, but ultimately you are rejecting yourself ahead of time by relying on them to make you feel a certain way. You're rejecting yourself or the idea that you can make yourself feel anything by relying on somebody else. So you're rejecting your own ability ahead of time by putting it on them to make you feel a certain way. Are you following me here? When you are a people pleaser and you take actions because you don't want to upset the other person because it might affect your relationship or your business or what they will say about you, but ultimately you are trying to avoid a certain feeling by being a people pleaser. What is that feeling for you? Is it failure, or disappointment, embarrassment, or truth? Let's say you have a client on the fence and they say they can get the price of your services at a lower rate elsewhere. And being the people pleaser you are, you don't want to make them feel uncomfortable when you say, this is my full rate. You want to make them happy, so they work with you, right? So you discount your rate to appease them, and they will be your client. So in that situation, you are avoiding the future feeling of failure if they go with another company for the work. The failure hasn't even happened yet, but you are so freaked out by feeling failure, you avoid it at all costs and lessen your price and in turn the value that you offer. You can just stop being a people pleaser. It's all optional. You might want to argue with me on that, and that's totally fine. But listen up. If you are so focused on making other people happy or doing all the things for them, you are missing the opportunities to help yourself. If you want to grow your business or lose weight or stop being over drinking, and you are a people pleaser, it will be very difficult for you to take actions for yourself. You'll come up with a lot of excuses like, I don't have time. They were sick and needed me. I have so much going on, I can't focus on that right now. Does that sound familiar? Yeah, because you're a people pleaser. Start pleasing yourself. Make yourself happy by having thoughts that cause happiness. Know you can generate your own feelings, and you don't need anyone to help you feel happy or appreciated or liked. It's happening anyway. Other people's opinions and actions can't make us feel anything. It's always just our thoughts about what they said or did that cause us to feel a certain way. So you might as well just take ownership of it and learn that you can feel whatever you want, whenever you want, and you don't need all the things or to reduce your prices or lessen your value or your worth to do it. Just imagine if you were to confidently say, this is my price, and I 100% stand behind it. You won't get my level of service anywhere. But if you want to try, go for it. Then you aren't wasting time accommodating that customer, wishing they would appreciate you more, spinning out on how you probably should have made them pay full price. Look at all that time you are wasting. Time you could be spending on finding customers that will pay you for what you are worth, because you believe you are worth it. You don't spend your time being a people pleaser to avoid a feeling that may or may not happen. You are a total badass, not a people pleaser. Badass or people pleaser? You get to decide. I'm going to go with badass. It serves me way better than being a people pleaser. And trust me, I used to be one. I know. I did. If you find yourself constantly people-pleasing and feeling disappointed in their actions, you might find yourself over-drinking more often than you like, right? I can help you identify where you are people-pleasing and show you how it's holding you back in creating the results you want in your life. Sounds like a good time, right? It is, I promise. Schedule this 30-minute consultation with me. The link is in my notes on the podcast web page on my website, angelamascenik.com. And get that thing on the books. I'll help you identify where you're being a people pleaser and how that leads to you over drinking. And we'll get you unstuck so you can move forward with your life. All right, guys. Talk to you next week. Bye-bye. Also, if you enjoy this podcast, I'd love it if you could take 5 minutes and review me on iTunes. You can do it right from your phone, Open your podcast player, click on my show, and then scroll down until you see review. Click on the 5th star, then scroll a little bit more and click on write a review, and then leave a few sentences about how amazing my podcast is. I really appreciate it, and the more reviews I get, the more women see my podcast, and the more people I can help. So get over there and review me. Do it now. Okay, bye.